Countries all over the world have their own customs and celebrations, but the one day we all seem to celebrate is April Fool's Day. People and companies have been pulling pranks and coming up with elaborate hoaxes long before the era of "it's a prank, bro." And some hoaxes are so bizarre that you wouldn't believe that people fell for them. Top 10 Best presents Top 10 All-Time April Fool's Day Hoaxes. 10. The Origins of April Fool's Day. One of the oldest April Fool's Day hoaxes is about the actual origins of April Fool's itself. Although there are hundreds of different origin stories, one that is the most widely known around the world is the changing of the calendar story. According to this, calendars were changed in the 1500s. Before the change, the start of the new year was celebrated every spring, with France switching to the Roman calendar. Their new year date ended up being January. Since word traveled very, very slowly in that era, people in the countryside still relied on the old calendar that said the new year would be on April 1st. They'd get dressed up for the occasion only to find out that the new year was months ago, making them April Fools. There's no one alive from the 1500s that can verify this origin, no matter how widely known this is, making this one of the oldest surviving April Fool's Day hoaxes in history. 9. Viagra for hamsters, or for fools. In 2000, British newspaper The Independent published an article that said that scientists had invented a Viagra-like pill called pheromone, a play on the word pheromone, for sexually frustrated, lonely hamsters, saying that if your hamster is displaying destructive behavior, like gnawing on the roads in their cages, or if they seem to sit alone and look sad, they might benefit from the pill. The article said that the hamsters have fairly low self-esteem, and even think things like, "I haven't had sex for months. Am I so unattractive?" Pet owners were supposed to take the pill, grind it up, and just sprinkle it on top of their hamster's food. It would consume the pill and transform into they're guaranteed a perky, frisky, sexually confident furball. Exactly what every pet owner needs. 8. Drunk driving on the internet. In April 1994, PC Magazine published an article about a bill that was about to be passed through the Congress that would make using the internet while intoxicated illegal. Furthermore, discussing sexual matters over a public network would also be considered a criminal offense. The bill was numbered 040194, which was just the date the article was being published on, 04/01/1994, and the contact person for the bill was named Lurpa Sloof, which is just the word April Fools backwards. Within a few hours of the article going live, the Congress offices were flooded with angry calls from people. It got so bad that Senator Edward Kennedy's office had to release an official statement denying their involvement in any such bill. 7. The Guardian on Twitter. In 2009, Guardian announced that they were going to wrap up their website and physical paper services after being in the industry for 188 years and going to report news only through a series of tweets, saying that since Twitter is instant, they'll be able to report on things happening as they happened, while also keeping up with modern technology. They would change their content so it would fit in 140 characters, which is the maximum amount of characters allowed in a single tweet, and would be the first newspaper ever that would be exclusively published on Twitter. They would also rewrite archived news articles in 140 characters in the layout of tweets. Some of these archives were already done. Thankfully, it was all a hoax, and The Guardian went back to regular reporting a day later. 6. Jovian-Plutonian gravitational effect. On the BBC Radio 2 broadcast in 1976, English astronomer Patrick Moore, known for his quick responses and witty humor, got away with one of the funniest hoaxes in history. He announced that precisely at 9:47 a.m., Jupiter and Pluto would align perfectly, causing an effect so adverse that it could also be felt on Earth. He said that when the conjunction happens, the strong gravitational pull between the two planets will significantly decrease Earth's gravity, adding if his listeners jumped in the air at the right time, they would feel as if they were floating. Minutes after 9:47 a.m. that day, BBC was bombarded with calls from people that claimed that they felt the decreased gravity. So much so that a woman went as far as to say that her and 11 of her friends wafted from their chairs and orbited gently around the room, while another claimed that when she jumped, the decreased gravity caused her to hit her head on the ceiling. 5. European Union wants to ban April Fool's Day. The year of 2020 has been one that's full of unbelievable surprises. You never know when the year will throw us another curveball. That has led people to becoming a lot more susceptible to the information they hear, especially if it comes from the government. On the early hours of April 1st, an article went live that said that the European Union had cancelled April Fool's Day fake news to help combat Russian propaganda, saying that a representative from the EU had announced that they were protecting our democratic processes and institutions from Russian disinformation has become a major challenge in the modern era. The article had several other quotes, like this, that just didn't make sense, but were presented in a serious enough way that people believed it, until they got to the very last line that said, "This article is an April Fool's joke." Those who had read the entire article were only fooled for a few minutes, while those that had only read the headline and shared it forward believed it for a lot longer. 4. Belgian breakup. In 2006, a Belgian TV channel broadcast was interrupted by an urgent bulletin to deliver an important message to the viewers that Belgium had just been divided. They reported that the Dutch-speaking population of Belgium just declared their independence from the rest of the country and that the monarchy had crumbled. The king and queen had fled the country. Poor quality images showed what looked like the royal family boarding a military airplane. Chaos ensued and people all over the country believed the bulletin, as it was presented by respected presenters and they had no reason to believe that they would be misleading them. The hoax went on for a whole half an hour before a text flashed at the bottom of the screen saying, "This is fiction." The channel wanted people to think about the possibility of the country splitting up. Safe to say, they succeeded. 3. The ruins of Asterix's home village. In 1993, The Independent reported that archaeologists dug up remains of a huge Iron Age settlement that the French cartoon Asterix's was supposed to be from. The craziest part of this discovery was that the settlement was found in the exact spot that Asterix's creator had written the cartoon's home to be at. They claim that the writer had no idea of the settlement's existence, yet managed to create a whole cartoon series on it, adding that the only detail he got wrong was the shape of the defensive palisade, saying that they were straight and not curved. The rest of the details fit to the T. The article even mentioned several other details, from the area of the settlement, how the layout of the whole place was, and even claimed that they found Celtic coins with the image of a wild boar, the favorite food of Asterix's friend, Obelix, making for one of the most detailed April Fool's Day hoaxes of all time. 2. Instant color TV. The color TV was made in Germany in 1953. Since technology didn't spread to the world as quickly as it does today, it took over 10 years for it to start making it to the other parts of the world. But people knew it existed and waited anxiously to have a color TV in their home too. Taking advantage of the anxiousness, Swedish TV, the national channel of Sweden, that is still broadcasted in black and white, said that they had a technical expert as a guest on the show that day. The expert was there to tell people a hack using which they could instantly turn their black and white TVs into color TVs, without having to make a single hardware change. All they had to do was take an old nylon stocking and stretch it over their TV screens. To make the whole thing work, they had to then move their heads back and forth repeatedly to align with the color spectrum. Safe to say that the hack didn't work. There were just hundreds of thousands of people across Sweden with stockings on their TVs, bopping their heads back and forth, looking ridiculous. 1. Richard Nixon for president. On the National Public Radio's Talk of the Nation program in 1992, they pulled a hoax so bizarre that it only lasted a couple of minutes. Using an impressionist named Rich Little, who was perfect at doing the Nixon voice, they announced that Richard Nixon, the only US president that ever resigned from office, was going to run for president again. They even played audio clips of Rich saying, "I didn't do anything wrong, and I won't do it again," which they claimed was his new slogan. Within a few seconds, NPR was bombarded with calls and messages from furious listeners, so much so that it became too hard for them to keep the joke going and stay on the air. Just a couple of minutes after starting the joke, they had to give up and tell their listeners that it was just an April Fool's joke, and that the real Richard Nixon wasn't even a part of the Richard Nixon election campaign they just announced. That's a wrap for Top 10 April Fool's hoaxes of all time. Which one of these did you find the most entertaining? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.